Everybody knows that light has particles. They're called photons. But what if I told you that sound has particles too? Not metaphorically, not spiritually, actual quantum objects. They're called phonons. And once you start understanding phonons, you begin to realize something very weird. Modern physics increasingly describes reality less like solid objects and more like vibration. As musicians, producers, and sound designers, we already think this way. Oscillation, frequency, resonance, harmonics. But quantum physics? Oddly enough, it's describing reality using very similar concepts. And this rabbit hole gets even stranger when you begin to ask questions like, could light and sound be mathematically connected? Could geometry and vibration emerge from the same deeper structure? And if we take something universal like the speed of light and continuously divide it into octaves, do we eventually arrive at music itself? Before we can understand phonons, we first need to understand what sound really is, because sound is a kind of illusion. When I play a note like this, nothing physical shoots from the speaker into your ear. Not like a bullet, not like an object. What is actually happening is vibration. The speaker cone moves air molecules, and those molecules push other molecules, and eventually your eardrum starts vibrating too. Your brain translates those vibrations into what we experience as sound. So sound is really organized motion through a medium. No air, no sound. That's why space is silent. And already this makes sound fundamentally different from light, because light can travel through empty space. Light has photons. A photon is the smallest quantized packet of electromagnetic energy. Quantum physics discovered that light doesn't behave as one perfectly smooth, continuous wave. Energy comes in discrete packets, and sound has something surprisingly similar: phonons. A phonon is basically the smallest quantized vibration inside of matter. And there's an important distinction. A photon can exist by itself in empty space. A phonon cannot. Phonons only exist because atoms are interacting with each other. So phonons are more like organized packets of collective vibration. The easiest way to understand this is the stadium wave. Imagine every person in the stadium is an atom. One person stands up, then the next, then the next. The wave moves around the stadium, but nobody actually travels across the stadium. Only the pattern moves. That's basically how sound behaves inside matter. Atoms vibrate, energy propagates, patterns move. And quantum physics says that these vibrations can only exist at certain energy levels, not infinitely smooth values. That quantized vibration packet, that's called a phonon. Now here's where this becomes really important. Phonons are not just abstract physics concepts. They help scientists understand heat transfer, crystals, semiconductors, superconductors, resonance, and material behavior itself. So if your laptop is heating up right now, that's mostly phonons. Heat traveling through metal, phonons. Crystal vibrations, phonons. At deeper levels, heat itself becomes organized microscopic vibration. And this is where reality starts becoming very weird, because physics increasingly describes matter not as solid little balls, but as interacting excitations and oscillations. And this idea of vibration revealing hidden structures, it isn't just theoretical. Scientists are now using vibration almost like a form of vision. Italian radar physicist Filippo Biondi developed techniques using synthetic aperture radar tomography to analyze microscopic vibrations in structures like the pyramids of Giza. Instead of simply blasting radar through rock, his work analyzes tiny Doppler shifts and microvibrations, tiny resonance patterns, tiny wave interactions, tiny oscillations. And by processing that vibrational information, systems can reconstruct hidden internal structures. At one point, Biondi even referred to converting radar reflections into phononic information, which is honestly mind-blowing because it suggests something profound. Vibration itself may carry structural information about matter, almost like every object has its own hidden acoustic fingerprint. And whether every pyramid claim becomes fully validated or not, the deeper principle is still incredible, that resonance and vibration may allow us to see inside of matter itself. This is where musicians accidentally become physicists, because music already trains us to think in oscillation. Frequency, resonance, standing waves, harmonics. When you look at a synth oscillator, you're literally looking at organized periodic motion, and harmonics appear everywhere in nature. Strings, air columns, quantum systems, electrical systems, orbital mechanics. Reality loves resonance, which is probably why music feels so universal. Even ancient civilizations understood that vibration and geometry seem deeply connected. And modern physics, oddly enough, it keeps circling back towards similar ideas. Not mystical necessarily, but deeply mathematical. Now here's where things become really fascinating. Visible light operates at frequencies vastly higher than sound. So a concert A is actually 440 hertz, or 440 cycles per second. Visible light exists at hundreds of trillions of hertz, but mathematically, they're both waves. And if you continuously divide light frequencies by 2, eventually you arrive inside the audible range. Musically, that's called octave reduction. Every division by 2 lowers frequency by 1 octave. And this is where I personally started going down a massive rabbit hole because certain octave reduced electromagnetic frequencies land incredibly close to musical notes. For example, 439.77 hertz is extremely close to 440 hertz. And immediately the brain starts thinking, is this coincidence or is nature fundamentally harmonic? But then another problem appears. Units themselves are strange. A meter is technically arbitrary. Humans invented it. So if we're trying to discover some truly universal harmonic structure, should we really base it on human measurements? Or should we start from something deeper like the speed of light, Planck units, geometry, quantum constants, or pure mathematical ratios? Because maybe the universe doesn't fundamentally care about meters. Maybe it only cares about relationships. Physicists already believe there may be a smallest meaningful scale in nature, the Planck length, an unimaginably tiny scale where space-time itself stops behaving normally. And once you begin to think this way, you start to ask very weird questions. Could geometry itself generate vibration? Could resonance emerge directly from mathematics? And could reality fundamentally be harmonic at its deepest level? Now, to be very clear, this is where we move away from established science and into philosophical exploration. Modern physics does not currently say that musical scales are secretly encoded into the universe in some perfect, mystical way. And there's always danger in forcing patterns onto nature that aren't really there. But wave behavior, harmonics, oscillation, geometry, resonance, and mathematics absolutely are deeply embedded into physics. That part is real. And honestly, the deeper physics goes, the more reality starts looking musical. Patterns, frequency, interference, oscillation, resonance, not metaphorically, structurally. Maybe that's why humans connect so deeply to music, because vibration isn't just entertainment. It's one of the fundamental behaviors of the universe itself. And maybe music isn't something that humans invented. Maybe it's something we discovered. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, because honestly, I think synthesis, sound design, geometry, consciousness, and physics are all way more connected than we currently understand. See you in the next one.